I think I had peeped it actually on opening day.
Alrighty, everyone. We are back. We've got post-game streams. It is our first post-game stream of the season. Technically not our first stream of the season because I did stream during opening day and you got to see the wild roller coaster of, oh my God, we're down 4-0. The season is over, to, oh my God, we just won that game. And this just feels like the same game played in 3 different ways. We went down. We're like, all right. In the 6th or 7th inning, it's like, all right, hopefully we win tomorrow. It's all right. We won the first 2 games. Let's just try to wrap this thing up tomorrow. And then they storm back and win. First and foremost, I mean, it's awesome to be back to do post-game streams. It's great to do these again. It's awesome to not have to do these after Franchi Cordero hit 5th and went 0-4, and Jake Bowers led off and went 0-3, and, Carlos Rodon gave up 7 runs in, like, the first 3 innings. Instead, we get to talk about a really good start from our starting pitcher. Probably the best start we've got from a starter all year thus far. A really fun comeback win and some really good offensive contributions. I know they didn't always crack through, but I felt like they were doing damage the entire game in terms of just running up the pitch count. The Yankees saw 177 pitches today. The Yankees scored 5 runs in the final 3 innings. The Yankees got 6 innings of no earned run baseball, not shutout baseball technically, but no earned run baseball from new signing Marcus Stroman. Dylan, we've won 3 straight in Minute Maid, House of Horrors, but we've come through each time. How you feeling today? How you doing today? And for the first time in the 2024 season, Dylan, give me your thoughts on the game.
Hey, it's actually been more than 3 straight. We've won, technically dating back to last year, 6 straight versus the Astros at Minute Maid. So we are really rolling against them right now. And, these past 3 games have been comeback wins, which is very awesome to see. But before I do get into the game, Ryan, you have some announcement to make. I know a lot of people probably saw it on Twitter already, but you might as well announce it to the people on YouTube. Tell us about it. I want to hear about it myself firsthand from you.
Yeah, so to everyone who's not following me on Twitter and is not aware, I will be in Hudson Valley covering the Yankees High A affiliate for the season. So when they kick off in a couple of weeks, you might see Roderick Arias and or George Lombard Jr., the Yankees' first-round pick there. The Yankees' left-handed starter, Brock Selbage, who started in their futures game, is most likely going to be assigned there. We'll get official rosters soon. Media Day is April 2nd, so get ready for that. We'll have some interviews around the Fireside Yankees channel and some stuff coming out for Empire Sports Media. So, Dylan, I actually thank you for segueing to that and giving me the opportunity to directly say that to our viewers. But yes, guys, we have official credentialed minor league content coming your way, and that should be plenty of fun for Fireside Yankees and Empire Sports Media as a whole. This is a really awesome one for our website. Obviously, we've all worked incredibly hard to get to a point where, we can say stuff like that, where we can put ourselves out there, we can be taken seriously by professional organizations and professional baseball teams. And we hope we can give you guys the best coverage possible right here at Fireside Yankees and Empire Sports Media. If you guys are not subscribed to Fireside Yankees, check out our personal Twitter accounts, our Instagram, all that stuff. And if you guys are not checked out on Empire Sports Media, because we don't just have Yankee content, Dylan, we also have Knicks content and all of your New York sports teams, of course, but the Knicks are obviously in the middle of a playoff hunt. If you just saw Jalen Brunson drop 61 points, don't tell me how the game ended. I don't need to remember. But Jalen Brunson just dropped 61. He is one of the best players in the NBA. You guys need to make sure you guys check out Rate and Coverage, and Dylan has got you covered on that front, as well as doing Giants articles as well, and some Yankees articles too. So all of his articles are also on EmpireSportsMedia.com. Dylan, the vibes are high right now. I mean, it's undeniable. The vibes, if we set a vibes meter for the Yankees, I mean, it's 3-0 against the Astros. Juan Soto's hit his first home run. For some reason, Oswaldo Cabrera's Barry Bonds. And you know what? Looking at the pitching staff so far, they've had 3 pretty good days. Outside of the first 2 innings for Nestor Cortez, it has been marvelous pitching from the Yankees. Some shaky defense, but we'll live with that. And, end of the day, that gets swiped under the radar. You hope that, guys like Volpe and Rizzo, Rizzo makes that scoop next time, and Cabrera makes that throw, and Volpe doesn't rush another throw, stuff of that nature. You kind of hope that just gets cleaned up. But end of the day, again, they just see so many pitches now. Dylan, they wear these pitchers down. Hunter Brown was at 88 pitches after 4 innings. It was crazy.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that too. These first 3 games, they've had some really good at-bats. Maybe the run production I would like to see sooner, but I mean, at the end of the day, the outcome of the final outcome is what matters more than anything. So I'm not going to complain. They've won 3 in a row to start the year, and even if their offense offense doesn't really start to click until late in the game, at least it clicks at any point. That's what matters the most. But even when they haven't been scoring, they've still been putting up good at bats. Like you mentioned, working the counts, making the opponent pitchers get up to a high pitch count. I mean, 80 some odd pitches through the first 4 innings. Even in opening day, they got the bases loaded like twice in the first couple innings, even though they didn't result in runs. Still got guys on base. That's an encouraging sign. And eventually, of course, more runs will come through. You're seeing signs of life in the offense in the second half of the games, which I think is more important than anything because, if you can get on a late rally, then you can really just like stab the other team in the heart. And that's kind of what they've done to the Astros these first 3 games. Pretty sure all 3 games they've entered at least the 6th inning trailing, and then they just come back. They start, firing it, with the offense. They get some hits, even some small ball. I mean, yesterday I wouldn't say they got bailed because they did take the lead before, but some just awful Astros defense gave them extra runs. So you take advantage of that, of course, every single time. But a game like tonight, for example, where they were down, I think like 3-1 entering the 7th inning, and then Oswaldo Cabrera came up and just hit that home run, and he's been on fire. First off, I think we all know that by now, but man, I think he saw us trade for John Birdie and like took that a little bit personal because he's on fire right now. I know it's only 3 games, but he's playing better right now in these 3 games than he did like all of last season. So I think that really says something about him. I'm really proud of him, his work ethic. I'm proud to see him actually kind of come through when we need him to, because DJ LeMahieu's hurt right now, and we got some bad news about him earlier today about that small fracture in his foot. So now he's going to be out for even longer than we thought. So now we really need Cabrera to step up, and he's doing that so far. And I'm really, really pleased to see that. And on the pitching front, as you mentioned before, the starting pitching, for me, looking ahead, I'm still a little worried about it. I don't know how they're going to last 2 months without Cole, but I don't want to be a Debbie Downer about it because, so far the first 3 starts, aside from those first 2 innings from Nestor, the pitching has done its part. They've done its part. And it was a little bit of a slog from Rodon yesterday. I will admit that. It wasn't like the prettiest of starts, but he only gave up 1 run, and he did, pitch a lot better than he did at any point last season. So you take it any day of the week, and you hope that he can just build off of that in the future and have even better starts. Marcus Stroman was very good today, though. He gave up no earned runs. None of those 3 runs that were given up were his fault. The defense didn't bail him out at all. He got screwed by that pitch call on Abreu earlier in the game, but it is what it is at this point. But he pitched very well today. He threw 101 pitches. I'm surprised that they even, let him be out there for that long. Usually you don't see pitchers stay in the game that long, at least to start the season. But, I guess they really trusted Stroman's stuff, and I'm glad they did because he gave us 6 very good innings. How about Ian Hamilton, though? The first 3 games of the season that he's been pitching, he's been nails. I missed him a lot last season because he missed a lot of time last year. He's been awesome so far through these first 3 games. He's been amazing. Clay Holmes, that first game, I got flashbacks because I was like, oh no, we're getting Holmes meltdowns already this early in the season. Thankfully, we won that game because of Juan Soto making that awesome play in right field. Tonight, though, he looked a lot better. Yes, he hit Jeremy Pena on the elbow, and that scared me. But he threw a lot more strikes. He got ground balls, which is what we have him as our closer for, and we won the game. And you know what? We're 3-0 to start the year. The vibes are up right now. The vibes are up. We already have a series win in our books now, even though we still have another game against Houston tomorrow afternoon. But we already got a series win. That's awesome. Great way to start the year because the schedule is not easy to start. Pretty sure we have Houston and then Arizona, who was just in the World Series last year right after this. So it's not an easy draw to start the year. And so far, though, they're off to a fantastic start. Juan Soto's been doing his thing. Oswaldo Cabrera's been on fire. Aaron Judge has been off to a slow start, but I'm not worried about him at all. I know he'll get it going at some point. He's made some solid contact. Still getting screwed by umpires, though, because he's 6'7", getting those low strike calls, but can't do much about that. But, I mean, other than that, man, everything's been good so far. Everything's been really good so far. And I want to touch on one more thing. Anthony Volpe, first 3 games, has also been very good. Very good so far these first 3 games. He had 2 hits today, including that big home run in the 8th inning. And second game of the season, I believe it was, it was either second game or opening day. I don't exactly remember. My memory's a little bit foggy. But he had that one game where he walked like 3 times and he, got on base all 4 times or whatever it was. That was something we didn't see like at all last year. I don't think, in fact, he ever had a game where he reached base 4 times. And as patient as he was in those games, that's something I really wanted to see coming into this season, his sophomore season. More patience, less swinging at garbage and, waiting for your pitch to hit. So far, he's been doing that. It's a small thing to note, but I think it's important. I really do. It's his second season in the bigs, as I just mentioned. You want to see a major jump, especially for a guy as highly touted as Volpe is. And so far, he's done his thing. He's done his thing. I could see a big season from him. I don't want to speculate too far, though. We're only 3 games into the season, but so far the signs are looking good. This is a good Astros team still. Let's not be fooled. Even though we've beaten them 3 times, the Astros are still a good team. They're not, they're not a pushover. Of course, they're probably gonna compete for the AL West title again. Probably compete for the AL pennant again. So this is a really good sign to start the year. These games feel like October, and we're not even in April yet. We're still in March. Like, this is insane. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got on these first 3 games. I want to get your take on it, though, Ryan, and then we can pass it off to the viewers.
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to load up a couple of stats because you mentioned Volpe, you mentioned some other guys that we need to make sure we touch on. First and foremost with Anthony Volpe, it felt tough trying to justify the at-bats last year. It felt tough trying to find hope in certain stretches where he just looked, he just looked like he didn't belong, right? Like we talked about it last year. There were stretches where he just didn't belong, man. He didn't belong in the major leagues.
There were times where we said, should they send him down?
Yeah.
We questioned it. We did question it. Yes, it wasn't like anything super fluid or anything that was going to happen, but it was a conversation. The fact that it said something.
It was rough. It was tough. And you know what? He's looked a lot better. His bat path is significantly flatter. That is a legitimate change he's made. I feel good, man. I feel good about where we're at with Volpe. Love to see it continue to translate. I don't want to just, have a couple of really good games and have him steer off, but man, it looks good. And another guy I kind of wanted to highlight here, I feel like Austin Wells did a hell of a job behind the plate and with the stick today. A couple of big walks, that walk before Cabrera went the defense behind the plate called a pretty good game. You have Stroman out there. The defense, it is what it is, right? Like, the defense just wasn't good today. Those were the 3 runs, right? Great pitch calling, in sync with Stroman all day. You get Hamilton, lock in with Hamilton. You get Holmes, lock in with Holmes. I didn't feel like we were we were watching worse defense. Obviously, the statistics over a larger sample size, we will see the difference between Jose Trevino and Austin Wells. One is a platinum glove, generationally good defender. The other, you hope, was pretty good, right? But I didn't feel like, and I feel like since he's gotten here, I've never thought to myself, man, Austin Wells with his glove, man, he just killed us. You know what I mean? Or Austin Wells, get in front of that ball. Or Austin Wells, what are we doing, man? I've never felt that way with him defensively. And obviously it's a little bit different because it's a different, the coaching staff, Austin Wells inherited, kind of developed through the Yankee organization after 2020. So, it's a little bit of a different minor league structure. I understand that. But I remember when Gary came up, who wasn't a good defender when he got here, and we knew he was going to struggle with that. I remember feeling it, right? I remember looking at him behind the plate, compared to an Austin Romine, compared to a Kyle Higashioka, compared to whoever else was the backup catcher, and saying, dude, he's not as good as him defensively. And Wells can pack a punch. Wells, he's had some really smart ABs. He can put the ball in play. He's a smart hitter. I think Austin Wells can be a really, really solid contributor for this team. He gives them more left-handed pop. And yeah, I just very impressed with the at-bats today. Again, to see 177 pitches, that's really what stands out to me. Seeing 177 pitches is just stupid. It's stupid. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. That's something you just wouldn't see last year. How many times did we look at this lineup and we go, 3 pitches? The starter's got fucking 70 pitches and it's the 7th inning. Are you kidding me? How many games would it be like that? Hunter Brown had 70 pitches facing Volpe in the first top of the fourth. It's a night and day. It's night and day. And I was a little bit worried about the quality of contact. I didn't think it was there in the first part of that game. And I'm like, man, the Yankees aren't hitting the ball this hard. How much are they sacrificing with the pop to have these kinds of at-bats? And then it was like the Yankees. Somebody texted me this in the group chat, and I thought it was perfect. It's like the Yankees discovered launch angle the way that humans discovered fire. They're just like, oh my God, I hit the ball in the air. And they're just like, let's just hit 3 home runs. It was crazy. But as you mentioned, we do want to turn it to the chat. We do want to get the guys involved in the chat. T1000 game was fire. It sure was. John Bloom, a frequent viewer in the streams. Yo, Ryan. Yo, Dylan. What up, chat? Let's go, baby. Let's go. Yankees country. Let's ride. Let's ride, Yankees country. Let's ride. What a game. 3 straight wins against the Astros and all the comebacks. Another thing, Dylan, that's super important about these games, the Yankees and Astros could potentially both be wild card teams. And when we're talking about fighting for playoff positioning, you need to have the tiebreaker. Because if you have the tiebreaker, and if the Yankees win yesterday, they clinched that tiebreaker against the Astros when it's September 29th. And let's say the Yankees are in the wild card. Obviously, you would like to win the division, but you want to secure your chance of getting to the postseason, and this certainly increases that when it's all said and done, when the dust settles. And if you've beaten the Astros 4 times this year, what you're going to be able to say at the end of the season is that if you guys have the same record, you will get into the postseason and they will not. That's huge. Could you imagine knocking the Astros out of the playoffs because of a technicality? Knocking a team out that is deadly in the postseason, or knocking them down a seed, getting a home series against them instead of a road series, getting to play, let's say, the AL Central champions instead of having to go on the road and face like the Texas Rangers or go on the road and face the Tampa Bay Rays, because God knows Tropicana Field is not our favorite place on planet Earth. That's a season-defining difference. I'm not saying that to say the Twins suck, but we got to own the Twins in the playoffs. I feel a little more comfortable there than I do in the Trop. Or, God forbid, could you imagine on the road in Houston for a 3-game playoff series? I mean, maybe I'm not as scared now after these 3 games. I mean, we've won what? Yeah, you're right. We won 6 straight against them at Minute Maid, but it's the postseason. We know the Yankees, no matter what, no matter how well they play there at Minute Maid in the regular season, the postseason is a different beast. It's huge. I think this is a huge series. I think they've played a huge series and they've won, and I'm going to give them props for that. Dylan, I don't know if you have anything you want to add on before I go on.
I got nothing much. I mean, I just want to tack on what you said, about them, for tiebreakers and stuff. I mean, that's a very good point. I didn't even think about that because, I mean, we're still in March. So, of course, you're not thinking about the postseason at this exact moment. But that's a very good point. And maybe that's a big reason why, these games kind of have that, like, October field that I mentioned. We know that these two teams are going to likely be fighting for playoff positions again. We know that there's a chance that these two teams meet again in the postseason. It seems like it happens every single year where they find a way to cross paths at some point in the playoffs. We know that that's at stake. And even though we're only in March, we don't know how, these two teams aren't going to face each other that often in the regular season. They're not in the same division, and we know how the schedule works these days. Now every team plays each other instead of, playing the American League more than half of the time as opposed to the National League. So, these games are very important. If they win tomorrow and get the 4th, sure, if that would, I'm not sure exactly if that would mean that they win the season series, because I don't know exactly how many games against Houston they have, but let's assume that they have 7 games against the Astros this season and that wins the season series. That's huge right there. You win the season series off rip against the Houston Astros. That's amazing. I would love that. Of course, there's no guarantee that they get the 4-game sweep. It's very tough to get a 4-game sweep against any team. Nevertheless, a team as good as the Houston Astros. But, with the way this team's playing right now, anything could happen. Like I said, they've been trailing in every single game. So, of course, you wonder, like, okay, when's that game going to come when they just fall flat and they don't make that comeback again? But these 3 games, they've been making the comeback. Like, I thought tonight maybe that was going to be the night where, like, the bats would fall flat. They didn't play Giancarlo Stanton. Gleyber Torres was playing with a hurt thumb. Juan Soto was playing on a bum ankle, I guess, if you will. I mean, maybe his ankle's fine, but clearly his ankle's fine. He hit a home run. What am I saying? But you get the point I'm making here. The guys were starting to get banged up a little bit already. All this stuff. I thought maybe to come back, we'd lose our first game. It happens. I'm not going to end. The world's not over. The first loss is going to happen at some point. But no, they pretty quickly too. That could Cabrera home run. I mean, he pulled that inside pitch. That pitch was way in on his hands, and he found a way to pull it over the wall. He should just hit left-handed full time. I don't want to ever see him hit right-handed again. And if I'm not mistaken, he took an at-bat left-handed against Josh Hader. So maybe he's starting to realize that himself, that he doesn't need to go to the right side anymore. I really think I'm a thing, and I hope it does, because it looks like he made some serious adjustments to his swing from the left side, and it's paying dividends. The power is finally showing up now, even if it's only 3 games. He's already got 2 home runs in these 3 games. I heard them mention this on the broadcast. It took him over 30 games to get to 2 home runs last year. Pretty sure he only hit 5 in total out of all of last year. So this is already an encouraging sign. Some people might say, oh, it's only 3 games, this, that. 3 games for Oswaldo Cabrera playing this good, we will absolutely take it, because I don't think we even got 1 game out of this last year. And I'm not trying to be harsh on the guy. I love Oswaldo Cabrera, but he had a rough season last year, a horrible season at that. And, there was times where I was saying that they need to, send him down to AAA. I think everybody was vouching for that at some point too. They just could never do it because so many guys were injured. They kind of had no choice but to keep him up here 90% of the time. That hurt. I thought that was hurting his development. Even spring training this year, he was terrible the first couple weeks of spring training. I thought maybe he wasn't even going to make the team, or that if he was going to make the team, it would just be simply because of the fact that he can play every single position. That's really what I thought. But at this rate, man, he's looking like he might end up becoming an everyday player. I'm not going to, draw a conclusion on 3 games because I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, he's definitely an everyday player right now. I want to see more, of course, and I want to see it sustainable. But if it is sustainable, he might be able to play every day. And I do wonder how that'll affect a guy like DJ LeMahieu, who, is injured right now, yet again, having injury problems, under that big contract. I tweeted about this earlier, and I said, I wonder how this injury that just popped up for him is going to affect him, his remaining time as a Yankee. Not saying they're going to cut him this season. No, I don't expect that to happen. But, if he continues to have injury problems, if he continues to not produce, if he does all these things that, is quite frankly hurting the team, then I wonder what's going to happen, especially if Cabrera keeps playing like this. I don't know when DJ LeMahieu's coming back. We also don't know if Oswaldo Cabrera is going to continue to play like this. We haven't even seen John Birdie play yet. So this is all just speculatory. But I do think, as the season starts to go on, really get to kick off and we get into April, I do think these are questions we can really start to think about. I don't think we can necessarily draw a conclusion, but I do think we can at least think about it. What is your take on that?
I agree. The Yankees right now, you ride the hot hand. Oswaldo Cabrera is the hot hand, and he's having some really good at bats. I know that hater at bat, like it ended in a strikeout, but I thought he actually competed in that AB and made pitchers work. Again, like you see 177 pitches.
It's also Josh Hader too. I can't get mad at it.
It's Josh Hader.
It's Josh Hader. Josh Hader's one of the best players in baseball.
Let's the one thing I've taken away outside of all the good things for the Yankees is that Josh Hader is ridiculous. Josh Hader is just stupidly good at this sport, and it's incredible that he's on the Astros. I thank God we got to their bullpen before him because he's electric. Anywho, the Yankees, third base, you got to ride the hot hand. As you mentioned, what does this mean for LeMahieu? We'll figure that out down the road, seeing how Cabrera plays, seeing how different guys on the team play. I personally think that we'll see I think third base will be unique this year, but I think that's a good thing. Just kind of accumulate a bunch of flyers, and this is kind of what's different about this position than left field last year. They acquired somebody to give them some insurance after they lost their third baseman. I mean, think about it. They lost 2 third basemen, and that wasn't even a very safe position for them either. So they've done a better job at handling depth, I think, on the position player side of things. I think that trade for Birdie kind of changed our outlook on the position player depth chart. And the LeMahieu are bad. There's no doubt about that. He is the more proven player. When you run projections, you're going to run LeMahieu LeMahieu's going to project to be better than Oswaldo Cabrera. But if Oswaldo Cabrera's toe tap, if that's a legitimate change, this guy's here. And this guy could be a dude for us. And this guy could really change the way we look at this offense, the way that we look at this lineup, the way that we look at the 1 through 9. You're deep 1 through 9 right now. That's something we haven't seen with this team in a while. And it's great to know that we can get big at bats and get rallies going from the bottom of the lineup. It's so cool to know that when I'm looking at my 6th, 7th, and 8th hitter, I'm not all right, get me through the next inning. I'm okay, Volpe, Wells, and Cabrera. Let's get a rally going here. We're talking about 3 guys right now who have been integral in 2 of the last 3 comebacks. Obviously, Volpe and Cabrera were vital in all 3 of the comebacks, but Wells didn't play in game 1. Man, Wells is another player where you got to play him as much as possible this year. I'm just off rip. I love Trevino, love Trevi. Wells got to be playing as much as possible. as often and as frequent as you can get Austin Wells behind the plate, which won't be 150 games. Catchers do not catch 150 games. But the majority, the lion's share, 3 of every 5 days, 4 of every 6, something of that nature. That's got to be the distribution. It can't be, I love Trevino, but you kind of understand where I'm getting at here. Wells is the guy right now. Let's go Yankees. Yankee fan from Wisconsin. Yeah. Let's go Yankees.
Every time I've looked at catchers with the Yankees, every time I've looked at the catchers with the Yankees, I've looked at it as Trevino and Wells. I'm not looking at Wells or Trevino because I know, like you just said, they're not going to one of those guys is not going to play all 3 games of a series. They're both going to play at some point. So I just look at it as either or. And you're probably going to platoon them to lefty-righty, which is what they did on opening day. So, yeah.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
anyways, we can pass it back to the viewers. I just wanted to interject a little bit on that.
No, I'm glad you said that. Look, I think you're spot on. I agree with the catching situation. I think Wells is the guy right now. We can sweep tomorrow 4-0. Josh, I want to get greedy. Let's get greedy. We're playing with house money, basically. We've accomplished the job. The job's been job is for between us as fans. In the clubhouse, I hope this is not the mentality they have, of course. But between all of us, the Yankees have accomplished what they needed to in this series. They just won a series against the Houston Astros. But let's get greedy. Job's not finished. For the Yankees, job's not finished. Let's make it 4. Let's make it 4-0. Then let's make it 5-0. Then let's make just keep winning. Just keep winning. You play today, you win today, that kind of thing. Let's just keep the ball rolling. Clark Schmidt has a chance to really get him season off to a strong start. Last year did not do that. We'll see if he can do that this year. Yeah, man, let's keep the ball rolling. Let's keep the ball rolling. Cabrera's a star as well, though. Go New York Yankees. Hey, I would love for Cabrera to be a star, man. If Cabrera's, even if he's not a star, if he's a good player, 105 WRC plus good defense, man, I'll take that. I'll take that this year. I'll take that for sure. But looking at some, what's up with the glasses? The glasses, hey, shades. I can't.
The vibes, man. The vibes.
The vibes. It is
vibes, bro.
11:04 p.m. The sun has been
vibes.
set for 3 hours, but you bet your sweet ass that I'm wearing my sunglasses inside. We're gonna sweep tomorrow. Man, I hope we sweep tomorrow.
The vibes,
the Wizard of Oz. We got the brooms. I want the brooms out. Revenge is out for the ALCS losses, and Houston, you got a real problem with the Yankees in the last laugh, and the Yankees will sweep Houston and get the last laugh. Yankees, please try to stay healthy. This team is not the same team that rolls into Houston and just kind of lays an egg every year. I feel like this team looks a little different. They play a little different. They are a little different than the Yankee teams that roll into Houston and get absolutely stomped, or the Yankee teams that roll into Minute Maid Park or any of their rivals' ballparks and just get embarrassed. They've embarrassed the Astros the last 3 days. These are embarrassing losses. 3 straight blown leads. Embarrassing. Could not be me right now. So, Dylan, my favorite team is not 0-3. Is your because my favorite team, they've got 3 straight. They got 1, 2, 3. They got 3. Nope. Yeah, that's a 3-piece. You know what I mean? Nope. So I would, I want to obviously you don't victory
all 3 of those. All 3 of those.
Yeah, all 3 of those.
3 to the dome.
All 3 of those.
3 to the dome.
Three,
we
and
Knicks
then,
fans here. 3 to the dome. 3 to the dome.
I'm not trying to victory lap in
the
March. The season's a long year, and the Astros and Yankees will hopefully see each other again in the playoffs, in which we will have an opportunity, hopefully, to get sweet revenge in the postseason. And that is when revenge is gotten. You don't win. You don't start doing the whole revenge thing in the postseason. And look, I said this on Twitter, and I'm going to stand by it. Your stock as a team doesn't go all the way through the roof because you've won 3 straight to open your year, or you go 0-4. What, or in terms of dropping your stock
in March?
Your stock, right? It's March, right? Obviously, that's an important conversation to have, right? It's an important conversation to have to say, hey guys, they haven't done anything in the playoffs yet. But with that being said, I'm going to enjoy good baseball, and this is damn fun. Dylan, this is the most fun I've had watching baseball with the Yankees. I love the Yankees. The Yankees have some good teams.
Oh,
this
yeah.
Is fucking fun,
and think about this right now, too. Last year, they didn't get off to a good start last year, if we remember. They were struggling to be 500 through the first month. If I'm not mistaken, they were 15-15 a month of the way through. And obviously we don't know if that same thing could happen right now. We're only 3 games into this season. Anything could happen. I hope not. I hope, they come up to a much better start than what they did last year. But so far, the signs are pointing to a much better start, because this team last year is not making these comebacks against this Astros team. It's not. Last year's team is not doing that. The team without Juan Soto, the team without, Cabrera playing like this. They're not doing this. They're not making these comebacks. They're not coming back in the 7th inning, 8th inning, and getting into the Astros' head. They're not making the Astros forget how to throw a baseball on the field, throwing 3 throwing errors last night in that 8th inning, which was absolutely hysterical to watch. I'm just going to be honest. But that's besides the point. They're not making these comebacks last year. This year, it's only been 3 games, but they've already made 3 come from behind wins late, which last year, it felt like they never did that. It felt like they had 3 of those all year, and they've already done this, and we haven't even entered April yet. It's an encouraging thing. And like you said, no, we're not over here going Yankees are World Series bound. No, we're 3 games in. We still have 159 of these left. But, I'm just happy to see that they're off to a good start. They're giving me hope because I'll admit, I will admit this. I was a little pessimistic about the Yankees this year. I was. Not saying that I didn't think they were going to be better than last year because, you added Juan Soto. I definitely expected them to be better. But I was very, very worried about the rotation, and I still am. I still am worried about it, but I was very worried about the rotation. I was very worried about Carlos Rodon. I was extremely worried about those things. And I was a little bit worried about guys like Stanton, guys like Rizzo even. And I know Rizzo's gotten off to a slow start, but I'm not going to, hold off on judgment just yet. It's 3 games in because even Aaron Judge has gotten off to a slow start. We know what Aaron Judge is capable of. So I'm not worried about those guys. But these were just things that I was a little concerned about at the start of the year, such as the rotation stuff. It made me a little pessimistic because last year We came in with such high expectations after, an awesome 2022, but a disappointing finish, obviously. But, a great 2022 season. And then 2023, they just dropped the ball. They had an awful season, and that really that upset me as a fan. And it made me a little pessimistic coming into this season. It did. Because I was like, oh, we have all these high expectations. We just added Juan Soto. We added Marcus Stroman. Carlos Rodon is supposed to be having a bounce back year, all this stuff. All those were the headlines coming in. And I was like, man, they're going to disappoint us, aren't they? They're going to disappoint us. I was like, yeah, maybe Soto will have a fantastic season, but as a team, they're going to drop the ball again, aren't they? And who knows? Maybe that does still end up happening. I'm not going to act like that it's not happening anymore. But these first 3 games have given me life. They've given me life. It's only been 3 games, and I'm already feeling a lot better. This team is looking good so far. Obviously, there's going to be bumps in the road. It's a marathon, not a sprint. This is a very long season. There's going to be times where we look at this team and going, what the hell was wrong with the Yankees? But hopefully, when it's all said and done, we have a better finish. We finish strong, and that we just play consistent all the way through. I'm hoping for that. I'm praying for that. I'm hoping we get good seasons out of, like I just mentioned, Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, even Stanton. Stanton is the guy I'm watching the most this year. I want to see Stanton have a bounce back year more than anybody else. That's what I really want to see, because I think if he does, that this team can be really scary. I really do. That's just, some of the things I wanted to get off my chest, I guess. I know we're like halfway into the stream, but I still wanted to preach about those things a little bit. So.
No, absolutely. And, somebody actually talked about, and I wanted to get to this because there were a lot of comments about Judge. Like, what is our concern level? What should we be worried? Is there anything that's like, oh my God, what's wrong with Aaron Judge? If I'm going to be honest with you, Dylan, I'm not worried. In fact, the fact that the Yankees are winning while Aaron Judge is struggling is one of the most encouraging parts of this series. Now, that's not saying Aaron Judge struggling is so encouraging. He did have a pretty solid game today. He had a hit and a walk. I'll take that. Hopefully he can just kind of get himself back in a rhythm. But, dude, the Yankees don't win. The Yankees don't win these kinds of games when Aaron Judge Aaron Judge in this series is 2 for. I'm just trying to. You got to subtract. I can't do this math off the top of my head.
I think he's like 2 for 10 or something like that. I don't know exactly what he is. I know he's hitting under 200. But what I wanted to touch on this still. We got to remember, Aaron Judge missed about a week of games at the end of spring training because he was quote unquote beat up. We got to remember that. Then he came right back, and I think I don't know how many games left he played after that, but it wasn't many. It wasn't a lot. That can disrupt his rhythm a little bit. I'm not making that as an excuse because, of course, I do want him to be healthy. I don't want him to be injured. But he did kind of, get his rhythm disrupted a little bit at the end of spring training. And, I don't think having that happen and then having to face the Houston Astros in regular season games immediately after is exactly helpful. Yes, it's Aaron Judge. He should be able to, hit these guys. We got to remember, though, Christian Javier unfortunately owns him, I guess, because he's like 0 of 15 against him or something crazy like that. So that hurts right there. But, he still had some good at-bats, and he still made solid contact. Yes, the strikeouts are a little bit alarming, but a lot of those have been, again, because he's 6'7", and I think the umpires don't realize that. So that's part of the issue, is forcing Judge to swing at pitches out of the zone. It's forcing Judge to chase a little bit. He's also just getting bad calls at that. But I'm not worried about Aaron Judge, bottom line. I'm not worried about him. He's making solid contact. He's still putting up competitive at-bats. Pitchers are still scared of him. I think that's a big thing. As long as the pitchers are still scared of him, then it's a success if they're still scared of him. Because if the pitchers aren't scared of him, if they're ready to just attack him and Judge is still struggling, then we can be worried. They're still scared of him, though. They know it's Aaron Judge. They know that if you hang a pitch to Judge, you put a fastball down the middle, or you hang a slider to Judge, it is getting sent over those train tracks in left field. They know it. They know. So that's the big thing. If they're still pitching around him and stuff, they're still scared of him, then then it's a good thing. It's a good sign. Then hopefully he can get going at some point because eventually they're gonna have to throw to him. You know what I mean? Especially if Juan Soto keeps getting on base like he always does, they're gonna have to throw to him. You can't just keep walking him. So let's just see how it goes. But bottom line, I'm not worried about Judge. Not right now. Not 3 games into the season. If you want me to pick a time for me to be worried, maybe if this is still going on a month later. If this is still going on a month later, then maybe I can be worried. I'm not going to worry 3 games in, though. It's too soon. Way too soon.
I agree. No, I think that Aaron Judge, he'll figure it out. And once he figures it out, man, you know what I mean? He's going to be when Aaron Judge is hot, some guys are going to cool off. Cabrera's going to cool
going,
off.
Man. That Soto Judge 2-3 punch is going to be amazing.
Right. Like, dude, he's gonna cool off. We're gonna see, Soto's gonna cool. I mean, Soto had a 1400 OPS, and somehow his OPS went down on the season. Like, it's crazy. His OPS actually decreased after today's game, marginally, but it decreased. That's just stupid. He's going to slow down, obviously. He's going to have stretches where he's like, all right, he's no longer scorching red hot and the greatest player on planet Earth. Same about Cabrera. And, Volpe's not going to have a 200 WRC plus all year. Wells is not going to have a 180 WRC plus. Stuff of that nature. That's going to kind of turn around. And then guys like Gleyber will get warmed up. Guys like Judge are going to get warmed up. Maybe guys like Rizzo could get warmed up as well. It's the ebbs and flows of the season, guys. Some guys start out hot. Some guys start out cold. What's the best way for me to kind of describe this? Aaron Judge did not lead the Yankees in home runs at the end of April in 2022. Like, he didn't lead his own team in home runs. Then he broke the AL home run record. I'm unmoved. Yeah, like, look at this. I mean, Aaron Judge reminds me of Albert Pujols. Once he got his money, he just faded away. Once he got his money, he was unbelievable last year still. Like, he crashed into a wall trying to play baseball games. Like JJ, respectfully, buddy, respectfully. You gotta figure this out, buddy. We just won 3 straight. Can you cut out the doomer attitude? Can we cut out the I can't. I'm not gonna lie, Dylan. I don't mean to be like pessimistic right now.
To me, that's not a good take in my opinion, because like, go for it. I'll let you go.
No, I was gonna just say, yeah. I was just gonna say,
I want to hear you.
Like, man, are we really gonna have like just 3 unbelievable comeback wins? The improbable happening 3 nights in a row? No. I mean, it was crazy. It happened 2 nights in a row. The first game of the year felt like the win of the year. The Yankees just rattled off 3 win of the year candidates. 3 games that we'll look back on at any point during the season. And we're going to say, wow, that was one of the best wins of the year. Wow, this was one of the best ones of the year. Wow, this is one of the best ones of the year. Yada, yada, yada. I don't really... I just don't get it, man. I just don't. But go ahead. I just don't get that. I just don't get the necessity to be pessimistic.
I don't like this take because, like you mentioned, Aaron Judge had a phenomenal season last year, despite missing like over 60 games. He was on pace to do exactly what he did in 2022 again. He was on pace to do it again. And that was with a bum toe in the second half of the season. That was despite, like I just mentioned, missing 2 months because of that toe issue. Just because he's been bad the first 3 games, we're not going to sit here and say he got his money and faded away. If we want to talk about a guy that got his money and faded away, look at guys like Anthony Rendon, Javier Baez, Chris Bryant. Those are 3 guys right there that you can say got their money and faded away. Aaron Judge is not one of those guys. Aaron Judge got his money and then was named the captain. So let's not sit here and say that he is faded away because his first 3 games of the season, 3 games, by the way, 3 games are not as good. Let's not do that. Like, no.
Yeah, like let's simmer it down. The Yankees just won 3 straight. Yankees just won. Vibes here. So the vibes are, I mean, I'm short, so like maybe a lot higher than me. But like vibes through the moon. They're through the moon right now.
The vibes are taller than Ryan.
I mean, that's not very impressive. But the vibes are high, Dylan. The vibes are very high. So the vibes are 5-3. Yeah, they are. You know what? I think 5-3. They are 5-3. They are 5-3. That's what they are right now. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being 5-3. There really is nothing wrong with being, I'm 5-8, but there's nothing wrong with being 5-3. I feel like, personally. I could be wrong. Anywho, I did want to mention,
5-2.
You mentioned Ian Hamilton, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And I think somebody else mentioned Hamilton in the chat. I'm trying to find this comment. How about Hamilton from Patrick Sinclair? Dude, Ian Hamilton is just a godsend. Ian Hamilton is unbelievable. Ian Hamilton is remarkable. Ian Hamilton is
a ham dog.
Dude, I'm gonna put out a take. Is he a top 15, 20 reliever in this game? I'm gonna go there. I'm going there, man. I'm going there. He's that good. He's good, man. He's good. He's damn good. How many guys have been better than him since he's joined the Yankees?
Yeah.
Not many. I don't think a single fucking guy. I don't know. Not a single fucking. I don't think many guys have been better. It's a very short list. The guy's a baller. The guy's a baller.
He's been the best reliever in baseball.
Yeah, fuck it. No, but in all seriousness, I I think that, like, I genuinely think he's that guy. Oh, somebody went, is Ryan faded? No. You can see my eyes. I'm good. I just wanted to wear my glasses because it's a win. Like, I'm keeping the glasses on for the dub. We'll keep, when we lose, these will not be on. I promise you that. When we lose, these will not be on. And perhaps you would argue when we lose, that might be when you might go to some of the other things that life has to offer, for lack of better terms. But yeah, Ian Hamilton's lockdown, dude. High leverage, throw him in any situation. He's been that guy. Like, I'm very impressed with the bullpen.
Do you remember your legendary quote about Ian Hamilton last season when Ian Hamilton was hurt? Do you remember your legendary quote?
Yeah, the groin,
the
groin.
Do you remember it? Do I need to...
Look, man. Hey.
Hopefully some of the viewers remember that, because that was a funny stream. That was funny.
If he still wants it stretched out, dude, I mean, at this point in time, considering the way he's pitched, it's for the betterment. I'm a team player. I've always been a team player. I have always been a team player.
You are a child.
I have been a team player my entire life. I take it for the team. Pause. I take one for the team. I'll take one for the team here, man. I'll take one for the team. I'm like that. Anywho, so I don't say anything
child, that never change.
Yeah. So in the hopes of not saying anything else that will get me clipped or anything of the sort, I feel like today was just a great win. Today was just an unbelievable win. It was a great win. It really was. It was just a nice win.
It was, man. It was.
And low-key, dude, Stroman was really impressive. Like, BJ Blitz put this right now. Dude, Stroman might end up being the ace while he's out. Like, he was that good in the first half last year. Yeah.
He was that good in spring training, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
he was good in spring
I'm
training.
so excited. Dude,
Right now, Stroman is my ace in my eyes right now at the moment.
Set the bar here.
Cole out, obviously. Like, Stroman is considered, in my eyes, the ace at the moment. It's definitely not Nestor. You know, they had Nestor start opening day because Stroman, I guess, didn't want to mess up his rhythm. I don't know why people had a firestorm over him not starting opening day. First off, Stroman I'm referring to here. I didn't think it was that serious, but that's besides the point. I'm not going to, reignite that argument. The whole thing I was trying to allude to is, like, Stroman is basically the ace at the moment because I think he's the best pitcher they got at the moment, in that rotation. Carlos Rodon, for all we know, could end up becoming the good, great pitcher that he was the previous 2 seasons before he joined the Yankees. He could, and then maybe he ends up being the quote-unquote ace, the temporary ace, as we'll call it, because Cole will come back. So then Cole will just be right back in that ace spot. But if Stroman can pitch as good as he did in the first half last year and as good as he did in spring training, then they can have a good rotation again when Cole is out. And I know I said I was very concerned about the rotation. I still am a little bit. But if these guys can step up while Cole is out, I'll feel a lot better about it because then they'll have gotten a lot of innings under their belt and then they'll get their ace back. It'll be like acquiring an ace at the deadline almost. That'll be a good feeling for me. And as long as they can stay healthy, as long as they can produce, then I'll feel a lot better about the rotation than I did coming in. And yes, like I said, still a little bit worried. We haven't even seen all 5 pitchers pitch in this rotation. We've still yet to see Clark Schmidt and Luis Gil. I'm excited to see Luis Gil, by the way, but I am a little bit worried about Schmidt. I'm not going to lie to you about that, but I'm hoping Schmidt turns in a good outing tomorrow, and then I don't have to worry about it too much, looking ahead. But he's a big question mark for me, Schmidt, but I'm excited to see Luis Gil back in action. He missed all that time last year after having, the injuries and stuff. So I'm excited to see him back, and I'm excited to see him get an opportunity. And who knows, maybe if he pitches really well and if like Schmidt struggles, then maybe Gil could take that 5th spot from Schmidt. Maybe he could when Cole comes back. Maybe he could. It's something that we can look at, when it gets closer to the time Cole comes back. But hey, who knows? Who knows? Anything could happen at this point. Anything.
Yeah. Again, like, for the people who are upset that Stroman didn't take the opening day start, he just balled out game 3. Really kept the Yankees in that game. Pitched out of some really tough situations. He's him. He was him today. Like, he was that guy today. I wasn't. Look, was I like, oh my God, we signed Marcus Stroman? What an unbelievable sign! No, there are no questions here. No, there are obviously questions. You said you have a little bit of worry about Clark Schmidt. There are questions about every single guy in this rotation. That's why we don't feel great about the rotation. That's why we were worried about the rotation. That's why there was concern. That's why there was this, that, and that. You know what I mean? Like, there was obviously concern with the rotation. And, this first series, we've kind of gotten a peek as to the Yankee bullpen and how they can get the Yankees out of situations where they aren't where they don't have the great start. Stroman gave a really good start today. That was probably the best start, but like Cortez barely got through 5 and struggled. Rodon didn't get through 5, and it was a struggle to get through those 4 and a third, even though he only allowed 1 run. You know that the earned runs don't reflect the grind it was, the lack of, the lack of overpowering opposing hitters. I'm at a point with the Yankees right now where you just need to pitch well enough. Like all these games you win without Garrett Cole are so important. As long as you can continue to win a good amount of games without Garrett Cole, you're good, right? Like you expect, this is a tough part of the schedule. They've got, again, the Astros. Right after this, they go to Arizona. We got 2 10 p.m. games. I'm not looking forward to any of those 10 p.m. games at all. Like when those 10 p.m. games happen, like I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not. I'm going to need some coffee, need some Red Bull, need as much caffeine. Like I need as much caffeine as possible, dude. Just as much caffeine as possible. But dude, this is a tough part of the schedule. And these are super, super important games. Like the Yankees roll into Houston, very important games, has season-long defining kind of consequences. And they were on the brink of defeat 3 times, and they still win. Time after time after time after time again. The comeback kids. And the last team that was able to kind of make comebacks at this kind of clip was the 2009 Yankees. Like, I don't want to like say, oh my God, they're going to win the World Series. But yeah, like the last team that was the last Yankee team that pulled off comebacks at this kind of rate were the 2009 Yankees. I hope they can recreate that kind of excellence. I hope we could be talking about a World Series at the end of the year. I hope, the Yankees can, win. The Yankees have a great, perfect year, and we get to sit here and talk about it on October 31st or November 1st that the Yankees overcame everything and became World Series champions. But for now, this is all we can control right now. They've checked every box. They've won every battle. They're 3-0, on pace for 162-0. Are they going to win 162 games? No. Are we going to lose a game? Yes. Are we going to lose games that suck? Yeah. Are we going to blow a 4-0 lead? Yes. Are we going to blow? Is it going to be at bottom of the ninth? Clay Holmes on the mound, 2-run lead, and Clay Holmes blows it? Yes. Are there going to be games where Juan Soto comes up, bases loaded in the clutch, close spot? You need to win this game. It's a really tight, competitive game against a really good team. And he hits into a double play, yeah, that's going to happen. Like all of these things are going to happen at some points during the year. But right now, they're clicking. Right now, they're firing. Right now, Oswaldo Cabrera's Barry Bonds. Right now, this team does everything in the clutch. Right now, in the final 3 to 4 innings of a baseball game, you don't want to see this offense. I'm really happy, Dylan. Like I'm ecstatic with what's going on right now with this team.
See, you're being too happy. Once they lose a game, the season's over. I think we can all collectively agree. No, I'm kidding. The season's not over once we lose a game, but it'll feel. I know Twitter is going to be upset about it once we lose, but that's besides the point. We don't need to look at losses. We don't want the team to lose, obviously, so we don't even think about that at the moment. We're 3-0, but yeah, I'm happy to see what we've been seeing. Something I did want to bring up, though, at some point in the stream, Clayton Beeter got sent down today, and that was something that I thought was a little interesting. I saw that they brought up, I think it was Tanner Tolley in place of Beeter. I thought that was interesting. Clayton Beeter threw 3 pitches on the second game of the season, got that out of the way, his debut and stuff, and then they sent him down. I was like, interesting. I didn't know why they sent him down. Maybe I'm not as educated on why they sent him down, but I definitely saw that earlier, and it was like, interesting that they decided to send him down. What do you think about that, Ryan? I want to get your take on it first because you probably know more about it than I do.
So from my understanding, the situation is that they needed, so Clayton Beeter, they were not going to throw him back-to-back days. They wanted to make sure they had insurance for their bullpen because obviously Rodon, you had to make up 4 2/3 innings of bullpen work after the night before. You made up 4 innings of bullpen work. Tonight, you only had to go for 3, but you didn't know that, right? Obviously, at the time of that, you weren't going to have Beeter available to go and take the mound tonight. Because of that, it meant that you weren't going to be able, you had to send him down because you weren't going to get him to pitch like that. You also need to build him up as a starter for the rest of the season so he can help you in the rotation if something were to go wrong, God forbid. And then, obviously, Tully, you can call him up. You can send him down kind of when you're done with him. We're in the middle of a 7-game set. You kind of need as many fresh arms as possible. And, yeah, you need a guy who can prevent, who can kind of eat innings in a blow-up. God forbid one of Luis Seal or Clark Schmidt the next 2 days just doesn't have it, right? And I don't mean doesn't have it as just he got 7 home runs in the first inning. Let's say Luis Seal walks 4 batters in the first 3 1/3 innings, right? All right, you just got to, You gotta get your bullpen going. That's where you have Luke Weaver. That's where you have Tanner Tully, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's why they went to that. Tully can eat innings. Do I think he's a high upside arm? No, he's obviously not. He is a journeyman minor leaguer. He is not a prospect. He is not a top 100 guy, a top 30 guy in the organization, anything of the sort. But he does help you, and because he can help you a little bit, yeah, it's more of a roster management thing than like Clayton Beater stinks and Tanner Tully's so much better. It's more of a we kind of need innings.
When
like
do you think we could see Beater back? When do you think we could see him back?
I don't know. It's interesting because I don't know if they want to bring him back in a bullpen role. I think they kind of had him ready to just in case somebody got lit up in the first few outings. They're like, screw it. We're just gonna throw you out here now in that game where we're blowing the Astros out. We don't want to use anybody else in the bullpen. Let's send you down, and then we can get a restock bullpen. Tommy Canley, after his, I think, 15-day IL stint, which started on March 25th. So we're on day 5 of that. He can come off the IL, I believe, in the second week of April. Second week of April, we'll see Canley back. That'll probably be, I don't know what they do with the back end of the bullpen. Like, I don't know if they like send Tully down at any point and bring somebody else up. They have like Clayton Andrews they can kind of burn through. They can use him. They have Cody Poteet that they can burn through, although he's starting. They've got some guys that they can burn through. I think that they'll just kind of burn through guys until they can get to Tommy Canley again. I think that's a strategy. That's kind of my understanding of the situation. So yeah, Dylan, they're just burning through arms until they can get to Canley and get him back in the mix.
That makes sense.
This is just what they
do.
Makes
sense.
They're really good with this bullpen
stuff. Now I see it.
Yeah.
I had a feeling it had something to do with like roster management, bullpen management, but I was more so just curious to see if that was actually the case and not something else.
It's
the thing.
It's the most unique.
That's likely the case. Anyways, we can pivot.
Yeah, I was going to say baseball is the most unique kind of in terms of roster management because in basketball, yeah, you see guys come off of the G League to for a little bit, but you don't typically see roster movement like crazy. You don't see when Miles McBride was a G League guy. You didn't see him just, all right, come up for a day, go down for a week, come up for a day, go down for a week. It was more like, all right, you're here with the team for now. We'll send you down. You go get an extended run the G League. Like with bullpens, it's kind of like, all right, you're up. We could use you, but you're out of we just used you. You're not available tomorrow. We need fresh arms. It's a very interesting dynamic because pitchers are not players you can use every day the way that you can use any player in any other sport in every game. Like when you're healthy, you play every day. Pitchers are just different. Let's see. Loaizaga hasn't pitched since game 1, so pencil him in for 46 outs tomorrow. Yeah, he's going tomorrow. I think unless the Yankees get blown out or the Yankees blow another team out or the Astros out, I think we see Loaizaga. Loaizaga to Holmes or maybe Loaizaga to close out the game. They've consistently gone to Loaizaga in high leverage situations. We could see Ferguson, Gonzalez. I think we see Ferguson, Birdie, or Gonzalez, Birdie, Loaizaga. One of those 4 guys are the guys we're going to see tomorrow. And back it up, Clark Schmidt. You hope you get 5.
You might even see Loaizaga anyway.
Yeah,
you might even see Loaizaga anyway, low-key, because I don't know if they're going to want to sit him for 3 straight games. You might don't see him anyway, even if they're down by a lot. You might see.
And
anyway.
Weaver might be available too because he only tossed an inning in a third. So Weaver might. So that's a 5th guy. Their bullpen's rested up tomorrow because Hamilton's unavailable. We know that Hamilton's not going to be available. We know that Holmes, his availability is probably good, but I don't know. If you use him, you don't have him tomorrow. I think Clay Holmes will be. If we absolutely need him, we will use him. If they don't absolutely need him, I don't think they'll use him. I think Loaizaga is going to be the first guy out to get the save tomorrow. That's just my guess. If the Yankees were to have a lead, if it's a close game, we could see if the Yankees are down 3 runs, and if the Yankees are down 3 runs and it's the bottom of the bottom of the 8th, I could see them go to Tully for an inning. Or Weaver. I could see them go to Weaver if they're down 2 or 3 in the 7th or 8th. I think that's what they might do. Schmidt, let's just kind of get 5. Let's Clark goes 7 innings. My prediction: if we get 7 innings like Clark Schmidt, that's huge. Could you imagine if we got 7 innings? It'd be marvelous. We got 6. I'm not saying that to say he's a bum. I'm saying that to say given the way that
especially on his first start at that,
right?
That would be something.
Stroman did a job today. Stroman did a job today. Shout out Stroman, dude. He did an absolute job. Like, I'm extremely happy with what we got from Stroman today. He gave you 6 innings, saved the bullpen. You hope you can get another bullpen saver from Schmidt. If he gives you 6 innings, that's great because you can go to he can go to Ferguson or Gonzalez, or you could go to Loizaga for 2 and you win the game. Like, that would be perfect case. Life is so good. Nobody has it better than us situation. But obviously that'll wait to be seen. Heel is not in the bullpen, so I'm not forgetting Heel. He's not gonna go out of the bullpen, I'd imagine. Like, he's not out of the bullpen. So
he'll start the first game against Arizona. So
yeah. And that's an Arizona lineup that has been potent. They've been teeing off. Now, I understand that the Rockies pitching staff is not necessarily the barometer of success in this world. But the bats are hot. The Snakes have a good lineup, so it'll be a good test for Luis Heel. Not looking too far ahead, of course, but the Yankees have won the first
How
years
about
of the
the
year.
Rockies?
Dude, the Rockies.
You just mentioned the Rockies. I feel bad for those Rockies, man. They got no pitching, and they play in that ballpark. And they play in that ballpark too.
Well, they did win
with that pitching staff.
So,
Oh
hey,
man, it's gonna be rough for them this year. It's gonna be
well,
rough.
they did win today. I'll give them that.
Rough.
They won today. But
it's the beginning of the season. Beginning
Yeah,
of the season.
I mean-
Beginning of the season. It's gonna be rough for them this year. I'm not kidding. This, I know this isn't a Rocky stream, but I'm just gonna throw out this take anyway. The Rockies might lose like 110 games. I'm not even kidding. They might. The Rockies are that bad. They really are. Like they have
They're
some
terrible.
cool guys.
They're
that
so
can
bad.
hit. Sure, not many, but they have a couple. But they have the worst pitching staff I've ever seen. I don't think they have a single good pitcher, like anywhere. Maybe like Justin Lawrence out of the pen or something. That's it. Or like Bard even, but like
they have
that's it.
Nolan Jones. He's
And
good. He's a
how
good
often
player.
are they
I
gonna be in
know
this
that.
situation?
Yeah.
He cool. Nolan Jones is cool.
Yeah.
And
Alright.
I like Charlie
Alright.
Blackman too. So those guys are cool. Those guys are cool. But the rest of it, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We don't need to talk about that team because this isn't a Rocky stream. But since you brought him up, I felt like I felt the need to bring up just how bad they are.
No, I agree.
Sorry to any Rockies fans that might be tuning in for whatever reason. If you're a Rockies fan tuning into a Yankees stream, if you're a Rockies fan tuning into this stream right now, then you're probably trying to experience what winning baseball looks like. So yeah, I respect it.
No, that's fair. No, that's fair. But yeah, no, today was a great win. Hopefully the Yankees can keep that going and kind of keep the vibes kind of where they are now. Because, I mean, obviously, you're not going to win 162 games. You're not going to win every game. You're going to have games that are ugly. You're going to have games that suck. You're going to have games that you hate. But given where they're at right now, I feel pretty damn good about where the Yankees are at right now. I'm very excited to see how they continue to progress throughout the season. And yeah, like there's a great first win, a great opportunity to stream after a win. Dylan, also one more thing I want to throw out here, because I know for Fireside Bets, we put out Judge Soto combined parlay. Each of them get a hit. Bang, bang, bang. So, too clean. That's our second straight day sweeping on the baseball side of things. So, yeah, I just want to put that out there. I want to put that out in the air, put that energy out there. If you guys, Dylan, if there's anything you want to add on before we sign off, before we kind of leave things be and look forward to tomorrow.
Don't got much to say other than it's just it was good to be back on these streams. I think we only did a small handful of these together in the off season. It was mostly Ryan taking care of all those streams and stuff like that. We're hoping to make these live streams together a more consistent thing throughout the season. Obviously, now Ryan's going to have his hands full a little bit more with the Hudson Valley stuff going on, which is an awesome opportunity, by the way. I'm very, very excited to see what you do about that and, the good things you'll do for Empire Sports Media. But, other than that stuff, we're hoping to do a lot more of these live streams throughout the season. I know we did a good amount of them during last season. It seems like you guys liked them a lot. So we're going to try to do them a whole lot more. Obviously, it won't be able to happen after every single game, but we're going to try to do them as much as possible. And I really am excited to do a lot of these. It's good to be back on here. It is. It's a good feeling. It's been a minute since I've even pulled out this equipment. I'm not going to lie to you, but it's good to be back on here. That's really what I wanted to say. I'm looking forward to more wins, looking forward to more good baseball, and watching Juan freaking Soto play baseball for my baseball team. I'm very happy about that. So, yeah, just wanted to say that.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys tapped in with Fireside Yankees, tuned in, watching our stream. We had 477 viewers, 101 on YouTube, and 376 on Twitter at the time that we're ending this stream. Check out the Rangers ring. Yeah, the Rangers ring is sick, but ours is going to be sicker at the end of the year. And follow Fireside Yankees on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and of course this YouTube page for more Yankee content. You guys can check out our personal Twitter accounts; those are above our heads. If you guys want to watch, follow along on our betting content, we've got at Fireside Bets, and of course you can check out EmpireSportsMedia.com. We have all of your favorite New York sports teams covered, written coverage of those teams. Thank you guys again for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.